Welcome to Subgenre Sickos, the podcast where we analyze movies from specific small genres that pop up for a few years and then fade away for the most part. We look at the signifying tropes, notable figures, what works, what doesn't work, and their enduring legacies. So join us, won't you, while we discuss the movies. Creeps, ghouls, sickos, welcome to Subgenre Sickos. You know what this show is about, you know what we do here. And I am one of your hosts, Greg Orm, and with me, as always, is your other host,
Steve Skinner. Welcome. And we are smack dab in the middle of our mumblecore series, and we got a fun little zag here. We're talking the 2010 movie Cold Weather, directed by Aaron Katz, who's described as one of the founders of mumblecore, and was not really familiar with any of this. Is the first of any of his movies I've seen.
Same.
Yeah, so as we were doing research, it felt important to include one of his movies, and this movie is set in Portland, where I live, so that seemed pretty appropriate. And I will say it does use the location well. And but I guess what's a little different about this movie is that it is kind of like a mumblecore noir or numbercore thriller, but there's like a mystery at the heart of this movie. So that's, even though there's not a lot of plot, there's still like way more plot than most of the mumblecore movies we've talked about.
I will also add, if you're listening to this the weekend this episode is released, I am in Portland. If you're listening to this at any other time, I am probably maybe not in Portland, depending on what my future choices are. But release weekend, if you're listening to this, I am experiencing this movie in real time on the streets.
We're going to the diners. We're going to the storage units. We're going to the waterfalls. We're going to the coasts.
We're going to that shady bridge by that payphone, by the railroad tracks, and all the graffiti.
A lot more graffiti these days.
Good.
But so this is 2010 movie. Like I said, had you heard of Aaron Katz before, Greg? Or
no, I heard about him for the first time when you texted me. I was just listening to an interview with Joe Swanberg, and he keeps talking about this guy named Aaron Katz, so maybe we should cover one of his movies. I think maybe this one that takes place in Portland. And I said, sounds good to me. And now we're talking about that.
Yeah, a little peek behind the curtain for y'all. It's a very scientific process of movie selections.
You guys know this already, but like this is a really professional, like, we're basically running this like a Fortune 500 company, but we're doing it on a smaller scale so it feels more personal for you, the listener.
Our HR department is bigger than most companies.
Yeah,
we have,
it is.
We have we have an HR for the HR. That's how big it is.
It is unfortunately run by my cat, so most of the complaints are about the HR department and are summarily ignored, but it is nice that it's there.
Yeah, just in case. Or we could be like that. What in the news? There's that CEO who's like, "Well, I fired HR and all the complaints stopped. Problem solved."
Yeah, we just have HR that eats the complaints.
Not figuratively, literally.
Yeah. Yep, she likes to chew on things and lick herself. So,
yeah,
but it's actually a really, really inappropriate work environment because she is always licking her chooch openly.
And she's HR, so you have no one to complain to, Greg.
Yeah, it's like that Jeffrey Toobin thing. That guy, didn't he work for the New York Times or something? And he was caught cranking off during a work Zoom.
Oh
or
yeah.
something. Yeah. It's like that, but it's the HR department doing it, and she's tenured somehow, which I don't really understand. So there's nothing I can do about it. And I
A
can't just like,
hostile work environment.
yeah, I can't quit. Yeah. Anyway,
But I guess and
all
we'll
the,
go into a lot of the Portland specifics and details about
yeah.
this movie as we talk through it. But I guess what got you? Did this movie get you excited to come visit Portland, Greg?
I think I finally understand why it's called Bridgetown,
We got a few
Portland.
bridges here.
Yeah, there are at least two bridges in this movie. At least, maybe three.
There's a few, and they
Yeah,
mention one by name. She what the character Gail went on a first date where they walked across the Hawthorne Bridge, and that doesn't sound too exciting, but it actually does sound like a nice time.
yeah. It's hard to believe a city could have upwards of two bridges, and yet you live there. That's your life.
There's a lot of bridges. You gotta, the Willamette River
Yeah.
going through the city, and you need a bridge, and sometimes you don't have a bridge, and it's very annoying.
You ever see Portland Trailblazers legend Jesus Christ. Portland Trailblazers legend Clyde Drexler out on them bridges?
He's gliding over them, man, like the old days.
Good. Good. I like that
We
guy.
love him. Glide
He
the
played
glide,
for the
man.
Houston Rockets, which is the best team.
Well,
God's team.
can't agree with that one on you. Can't agree with you on that one, Greg. But
Well, you should read a fucking Bible. They were
it's
in there.
as a Jazz fan, I must hate the Rockets since I've hated them since the '90s. So this is a beef that's maybe too deep for us to ever reconcile.
I'll just say this. I forgot what I was going to say.
I thought you were going to take an easy shot at Karl Malone or John Stockton based on their personal
No.
lives, which would be
No.
fair game. Or you pull out one of any Vernon Maxwell quote about Utah, then
Yeah.
that's pretty.
Oh.
That's
Yeah.
some high level shade right there.
Yeah. That was back when I was on Twitter.com. I loved Vernon Maxwell making fun of the Utah Jazz and Utah in general.
He's maybe one of he could be the biggest Utah hater out there, but he's
Yeah.
very funny about it. Even though I don't agree with him on all of his points, it's I can still laugh at it. I mean, I don't live in Utah, so my family lives
Yeah.
there. I visit. It's fine. But
I remember what I was going to say,
okay.
so maybe I'll lift this out of right here and put it in there. Charles Barkley. Was he ever a member of the Utah Jazz? Oh, no, he was just a Houston Rocket for multiple years. That's right.
The golden years.
Yeah.
The senior years. The end times.
I mean, it was 96, 97. That was the season that, I got into the Rockets. So, yeah. Important. One of the best
Very
Saturday Night Live hosts was a Houston Rocket.
Well,
And
I do like
he
Barkley.
never got a 14-year-old pregnant like someone that has a major street in Salt Lake named after them did.
I guess this is where it's going to make my Cesar
Yeah.
Chavez jokes, but in light of
Yeah.
recent revelations
Yeah.
about Cesar Chavez,
Yeah. Maybe we'll just, without naming names, we'll just say he was known for delivering the mail.
it is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well,
He's also known for being portrayed by Jimmy Kimmel in full blackface several times on basic cable.
Well, at least when he did that portrayal, he was wearing one of the best ever jazz uniforms, the black uniforms with the copper siding. So
yeah,
at least he got that part right. At least that part of the costume's good.
Yeah. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel. I like him, but that was a really bad choice.
Not a great look.
Yeah. Everything else on the Man Show holds up. Woke as hell.
The man show has aged wonderfully.
Beautifully.
The only
yeah.
The only thing I can remember from the Man Show is when Jimmy and Adam go visit Snoop Dogg at his mansion, and they just smoke a lot of weed, and they just keep smoking weed and like riding like tricycles like around Snoop Dogg's house. I don't know why that stuck with me, but that's it.
So that show coincided with me going through puberty and learning about the different things my body can do if I practice really hard. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I was watching it, and they were doing like reader mail, and one of the guys that had written in was like, I'm going to stay with a friend for a couple of weeks. Is it good etiquette to masturbate in the bathroom while I'm a guest at someone's home? And Jimmy Kimmel said, ideally, that would be the room you would do it. Like, it would be really bad if you were doing it in the kids' rooms. And I was like, he's got a really good point.
A good joke, but also solid advice.
Yeah. He's like, at least there's a drain in that room. Yeah, again, I was exploring my body. It felt very relevant to me at the time, so it stuck with me.
Yeah, the juggies helping you develop through puberty, playing an important role, jumping on trampolines.
Yeah. Yeah, God. Like we said, the show holds up absolutely perfectly. It's beautiful.
Nothing's aged poorly at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Both of the hosts are doing great now.
Even when they switched to Joe Rogan and Doug Stanhope as hosts. Still good. Still aged perfectly.
What is interesting about that is the two wildly divergent paths both of those guys took. Like, I remember being on MySpace in 2005 and following Doug Stanhope on there, and he was talking a lot about running for president as a libertarian, and now he's like still somehow a voice of reason, and like he's able to do the dark stuff without doing like making his whole personality anti-woke. Like, it's just really clever, well-written dark stuff. And Joe Rogan is more steroid than man, and you can tell by the words that he says.
He does kind of look like a giant thumb too.
He didn't used to. On news radio, he looked like a person. Now he does look like a really sweaty, thumbprintless thumb.
Yeah. And I guess, Doug Stanhope has aged surprisingly well despite all the alcohol and cigarettes.
And mountains of cocaine.
Yes.
And pills. And various...
All of the above.
Yeah. Yeah. I also have several friends that have worked with Doug Stanhope, and they came out of the other side still being very big fans of his work. So that means he's probably not an asshole.
A surprisingly high barrier at this point.
For real.
Unfortunately, but there's no comedians or there's no mention of the man show in cold weather, but there is a weird sex magazine. So
Yeah, it's one of the two ways this is like Twin Peaks.
yeah, I was having a little bit of that, and a little bit about the Under the Silver Lake because there are puzzles that are solved. There's a sex
Yeah,
magazine. There's mysteries that unfold, and it's
mysteries
all
that we don't fully understand as the viewer, that kind of have a weird resolution that you just kind of have to accept.
yeah, and I think we'll get into this,
Yeah,
but
yeah, but just Under the Silver Lake is kind of the same way.
yeah, which Under the Silver Lake is a lot weirder than this movie. This is kind of
Yeah.
like the like the Cliff Notes version, where it's like there's only a couple subplots. Where Under the Silver Lake is like, what if it was all subplots?
Also, the main character in this one, we don't see it happen, but we assume that he showers because no one comments on how bad he smells. And half the
True.
dialogue in Under the Silver Lake is, Jesus, man, you smell like shit.
It is true.
Yeah.
But so the main character is called Doug. He's played by Chris Lankenau. And he's starts with, I guess he's recently moved to Portland from Chicago. He's living with his sister Gail, who's played by Treese Kelly Dunn, who I really liked her as an actress. I mean, I thought all the actors did a pretty good job, but I kind
Yeah.
of wish the movie was about her because I was like, oh, she's a little bit more interesting, but she's has a normal job. I think works at like a law firm, and he is kind of aimless. He quit school studying forensic science and is just kind of chilling
He also
out, living with his sister.
he also quit his job, his internship at a restaurant because he was bored,
Yeah,
is what he said. Which, I mean, I've never heard anyone describe working at a restaurant as boring. Usually it's way too stressful. My boss yells at
yeah.
me all the time, and everyone's on cocaine. And, yeah.
I guess, but boring. Boring's never the word I've heard to describe the
Yeah.
kitchen,
Except for Doug.
except for Doug. But Doug is he's just kind of vibing a lot. He's just kind of like whatever, He's he drops in on his sister at work, and it's just like,
Yeah.
let's go to the coast. It's whale watching week. And
Yeah.
that again, I was kind of noting very Portland things, and going out to the coast for whale watching week is pretty. I have done that, so it's pretty
Yeah.
appropriate.
My note for that was, does Doug know how jobs work? Because he just, like, walks into her job while she's working and says, hey, let's go to the coast. And she says, I'm at work right now.
And he's like, come on. And then she somehow ends up leaving and going because
Yeah. And it was all worth it because they found an old rope.
they found rope. Because they do there's like these weird long kind of kelp whip looking things that wash up on
Yeah.
the shore. So we got some of those. They see a seagull, but this movie's called Cold Weather, and I think again this movie very accurately portrays Portland as a very gray and rainy. And when they go to the coast, it is blustery and rainy, which I'm assuming it's probably in the fall or winter time because that's how the coast usually is.
Yeah, it's
And or maybe
super.
spring if it's whale watching. But I went and it was gray like in this movie, and did not see any whales, and it was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, this is all very interesting to me because I'm looking at my notes right now and it says, what a beautiful day at the coast.
It's pretty
And they even
typical.
found an old rope. I was really excited about the rope.
But I like how one of the ways he convinces her is that he like pulls out a lunch bag and is like, "I made sandwiches." And then they later eat those sandwiches on like a picnic table in like the downpouring rain.
Yeah, while a seagull watches.
Why a seagull watches, which
Yeah.
a lot of seagulls right now, because I think they filmed that out at Cannon Beach, which is kind of the most accessible, pretty popular sites to go to from Portland. And right now, it's like puffin mating season. So if you go out
Ooh.
there, you can see a bunch of puffins getting it on.
Will it still be puffin season when this episode drops and I am in Portland?
I'll have to check. It might be close to over then.
Because I just had an idea for a website.
Well, I believe the Doughboys already have birdfuck.com.
Yeah, but this is puffin porkin. It's alliterative, so it's good.
It looks like they're present from April to mid-August, so they might be there.
I want to see the horny puffins.
8 a.m. to 11 a.m. is when the puffins are most active, so
All right,
gotta get out there early. It might be tough.
We might miss it.
I mean, it's not too. I mean, it's like an hour and a half, but still, it's.
Yeah, we're gonna miss it.
Yeah, an hour and a half to get out there.
That early in the morning, yeah. I think we're gonna unfortunately miss this golden business opportunity.
Unfortunately.
Well, if you were wondering if Doug knows how jobs work, he's about to find out, because he gets a job at an ice factory. That job that we all think about when we think about what kind of jobs do people do. Ice factory.
Yeah. I mean, he describes it as like, you buy ice at the store in the bag, where do you think they make it? And it's like, that does make sense. It just doesn't kind of materialize. It's not just like someone putting it in, the bag from like a fridge or something.
I just thought like maybe it was like an ice machine. I work at a law firm, and in office we have 5 ice machines. So
it's important.
Yeah. They all break down constantly, but they are there. But anyway,
it seems like the ice factory has an ice machine, but then it fills bags of ice, and then his job is to schlep the ice into the trucks. Yeah. Seems very tedious.
Yeah. I had a lot of questions about the ice factory, and then interestingly enough, so did Gail, his sister, and then she asked every question that I had about the ice factory as I was thinking about them, and then he answered them, and I was thinking, well, this is very helpful.
That's why Gail's a good character. She's kind of surprised, like she's almost like disappointed in him for getting that. She's like, I thought you'd work in like a lab or something, not just like like an ice factory.
Yeah.
She's underwhelmed.
Well, every time we see him in the ice factory, he is working hard. And by working hard, I mean talking to the one other person that we actually see at the ice factory about whether or not Sherlock Holmes is good.
Yeah, he meets a buddy, Carlos, which I guess he meets him at the bus stop. Carlos is there because his car is in the shop because his window got broke. And here's another accurate depiction of Portland is property crime, which it's I literally like I had jury duty a couple weeks ago, and they asked like, oh, like, has anyone been the victim of a crime? And like so many of the potential jurors went around. It's like, I've had my car broken into, like I've had my bike stolen, I've had my car, like getting the car broken into happened multiple times, and it has happened to me. It happened to me when I lived in Portland in 2015. They broke the back window, got broken, and all we had in the car and what they took was like a roadside assistance kit that had like flares and not much else, and like a flashlight in it. And it was just like it didn't make me feel like scared, and like I didn't feel like, oh, like it was like dangerous or whatever. It was just more an annoyance, like, oh, like now we gotta take care of this stupid window. Like it's like, you didn't even take it, like we didn't even have anything to take, man, come on.
I had in Provo, when I lived at that house where I met you at the fire pit, I had my bike stolen out of the backyard there. And then one time when I had I think I know who did it, and it was our shitty roommate that we had for like the last month I was there.
Hmm.
I think it was either him or one of his friends just took my bike. But I had driven up to Salt Lake, and someone smashed one of the back windows of my car and stole the flimsiest guitar case I've ever owned. Like, I found it on the ground and just put it in my car, and it was probably worth $5. And that is the only thing they took, and there was like a whole stack of DVDs in the front seat that remained untouched. So, good job, thieves.
Yeah, the old smash and grab jobs aren't.
Yeah.
I guess there's not a lot of time to take the good stuff, and sometimes, again, yeah, it just sounds like an inconvenience. It's like, oh, no, I
Yeah.
just got to deal with this now. Come on, man, not even worth it. It's like you didn't even get anything good.
I didn't fix the window because the car broke down permanently like a month later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I had gremlins on the front seat. They could have stolen gremlins and they didn't. So it just really made me feel bad for the thief.
They could have been enjoying Gremlins as
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
As
the
they thought about
worst
their
thief,
crimes.
the worst thief broke into my car.
But it might have been the same thief who broke into mine because it's
Yeah.
just stealing worthless crap.
I hope he's enjoying that really cheap, flimsy $2 guitar case. I hope he filled it with all of his meth.
I hope they, enjoyed the roadside safety lights and the flares. Maybe they had some fun with the flares.
Yeah, they actually probably had a lot of fun with the flares. No idea yeah.
So yeah,
No idea what they used that case
getting
for.
your car window broken. Getting your car window broken is kind of a rite of passage in Portland. It happens to everyone.
But that bus stop conversation, I used to take the bus to and from work when I lived in Salt Lake, and one of my coworkers had the same stop as me, and that was like, that conversation is pretty awkward in the movie. That feels like best case scenario for if you run into a coworker at a bus stop. Like, that's never a productive conversation unless you're already friends.
Yeah, it just becomes weird. It's like, oh, I guess we're going on the bus. Okay.
Waiting for the bus, huh? Well, it is a bus stop.
Guess that's how we wait for the bus. Okay.
Oops. See you at lunch.
Later. Time to be on the bus and not talk to each other.
Yeah. Well, different bus routes. But yeah.
Good.
Just
Good.
Yeah, good. Because that would have been even weirder.
Yeah.
But he invites the Ice Factory crowd to his house for poker, which is just Carlos.
Well, Carlos, and I don't know the timing of it, because he's like, oh, there'll be some other people there. And I feel like it's his sister, Gail. And then I forget, I think, yeah. So it happens before where he meets up with his ex-girlfriend who's in town.
Yes.
Who's named Rachel, which is confusing given how many other movies have had characters named Rachel, and me confusing Mary Bronstein and calling her Rachel, which is my wife's name. So more confusion. Yeah. Another Rachel we're dealing with here.
Yeah, we could safely rename this podcast Rachel City, and it would not be unfitting.
No.
Anyway.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
He invites her to poker night at his and his sister's place. And he says, some of my friends, I invited a bunch of people from the Ice Factory. And then it's like a hard cut to him and Rachel and his sister alone playing cards. And then eventually Carlos shows up. And that's it for the Ice Factory crowd.
Carlos is the Ice Factory crowd, but they're playing cards. They're playing board games, which it's weird to say like, oh, like this is a Portland thing, but it does seem like, I mean, we do have a lot of board game stores, and we have there's a board game bar not too far from where I'm at, and maybe just because the weather is bad and people are indoors, it's like you gather and you play some board games.
Would you describe the weather as cold?
Not especially cold.
Huh. That's
Just
interesting.
more dreary. So it's the title is kind of a misnomer, though it can get
Mm.
cold sometimes. But like this past the past few winters, there's been like crazy stretches of very low temperatures and like crazy snowstorms and ice storms, which is very rare for here. But then this last winter, I don't think it got below freezing for more than like an hour or two. So everyone's very concerned about the summer because it's like,
Yeah.
well, we don't have enough water because it was, like not enough water during the winter. Didn't have any major snowstorms or anything like that. At least, at the lower elevation. Uh,
Last
the
year,
tree, like we,
yeah.
the bugs are going to be out of control. Like it's going to be wild this summer.
Last winter, it snowed so much that I had trouble. I got stuck in my completely level parking spot. I couldn't
Gosh.
get out. And this year, we maybe got 4 inches of snow total, and two of those were in April. Two of
Oh
those
gosh.
inches. So, same here.
So yeah, hope the summer's all right. But I
Yeah.
guess when he meets up with his ex girlfriend, there was another Portland trope is she has like her hair is drenched, but she has her raincoat on, and there is like a cultural thing in Portland where it's like you don't use umbrellas. It's like it's all raincoats. It's like only people from out of town use umbrellas, and I don't know if that's like the wind or the trees because I've kind of been stubborn and wanted to, fit in with the locals, so I won't use umbrellas.
I
And when I
have
do,
been.
it's like I feel like I'm always like getting them caught in trees and stuff too. Like if I'm walking my dog, so that's
Pr-
that's another thing. We don't umbrella up here.
Neither do I. In fact,
Okay, so you'll fit in.
I wonder if our guest from 2 weeks ago remembers this, but we used to hang out all the time in New York, and like we'd walk through the city, and she banned me from holding the umbrella when we were together because I was so bad at it. She said, "You're not allowed to hold this anymore." And I said, "That's fine." So I guess I'll
Uh,
fit right in.
yeah, been in here, but yeah, then it just kind of cuts to the next day. Gail and Doug have gone on another adventure. This time, the opposite direction of the coast. They go up the Columbia Gorge to Multnomah Falls, and there's a very
Wait,
beautiful shot of them on the bridge in front of Multnomah Falls.
isn't he there with Rachel?
Oh, I thought he was there with Gail,
It's
which
a
that
faraway
that
shot.
yeah, that was actually there a few things that were confusing at the beginning of the
Yeah.
movie for me, where it doesn't at least maybe I missed the dialogue or something, but it doesn't initially set up Doug and Gail as brother and sister. So at first I thought they could be going out or whatever, but then it does establish that, and then it kind of makes more sense. And then both Rachel and Gail are kind of like the same height and build, and both just have like dark hair. So they're
Yeah.
they're very similar looking. So it can be a little
Yeah.
tough to tell them apart.
Gail wears glasses and has shorter hair, and Rachel doesn't wear glasses and has longer hair. Other than that, especially from a distance, they look pretty similar.
They look the same. And Gail
Yeah.
sometimes wears a Trailblazers t-shirt. So that's a mumblecore
Yeah.
trope alert. We got a cool tee. Repping the
Yeah.
Blazers.
Yes.
And like you said,
Uh,
yeah, this is Rudy Gay and LaMarcus Aldridge time for the Blazers.
yeah. Uh, then Carlos and him have an awkward conversation about work, about salary. And in my notes, I wrote, "You have a legal right to talk salary with your coworkers in the office." Because you do.
Yeah, Doug kind of, yeah, it's like, I was like, this
Yeah.
is kind of an awkward question. Like, don't get offended. And yeah, Carlos makes 12.40 and Doug just makes 8. So I think
Which
now the minimum wage in Oregon is $15 or $16.
that sounds right.
Let's see. 15.55 or 16.80 is for the Portland metro area.
Okay. Yeah, I think I was also making $8 when this movie came out. When
Yeah.
I worked at Office Max. Just
Or-
under full-time amount of hours because my boss was a ghoul and didn't want to give us insurance, so she would schedule us 31 hours when 32 is what qualified you for benefits.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
All
not a
right,
great
so-
working environment.
No.
I was
So the
broke all the time.
Google AI lied to me. So there are certain areas where minimum wage is 16.30, and then for the most of the counties around the Portland area, it's 15.05. So
Okay,
thanks
so
Google AI for more misinformation.
I'm so glad that Google is all AI now.
Me too.
You're listening to this a few weeks in the future from when we're recording this. But this week, Google decided we're just going to do our helpful AI instead of what people use our site for.
Time to
Helpful.
switch to Bing or DuckDuckGo.
I did download DuckDuckGo and I'm figuring it out currently on my telephone.
Right behind you on that.
Yeah.
But Carlos, he reveals maybe even a more controversial secret that he is a DJ.
Yeah, I wrote, oh no, Carlos is a DJ. But then he describes the type of music he does, and I wrote, oh, actually, that sounds interesting.
He's
And then it
playing,
shows him,
Latin shit from the 60s.
yeah, and then it shows him playing it, and like the music actually is cool.
I dug it. It was
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah. But
And-
that's where we find out that Doug is super into Sherlock Holmes. And Carlos busts his chops about it a little bit. And then he says, well, I'm going to make you read this book. And they talk about how cool Sherlock Holmes is, about how he doesn't actually wear a hat or any of that. But they don't mention that he is addicted to cocaine, which is probably would have been the first thing that I brought up had it been me.
Most definitely. Yeah, he dispels the myth around the elementary "My Dear Watson" catchphrase and things like that. Because I know people who got mad at like the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes movies because they didn't say that phrase. And I'm like, well, he never did say it in the books, so I don't know why you're getting mad.
They at least implied that he was addicted to cocaine in those movies, and I was glad.
Yeah.
Are they good
But-
Sherlock Holmes adaptations? I don't remember. It's been a long time. But they do have the cocaine, and that's important.
They're on that Guy Ritchie shit, which is a fun time. We've talked to our Guy Ritchie takes before. Good in the
Yeah.
beginning, then kind of weird, and then who knows what he's up to these days. But he's doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I have watched none of it.
There's too much to watch. But yeah, when they go watch Carlos do his DJ set, here's another Portland trope is white people poorly dancing, which happens a lot. There is a lot of like ecstatic dancing scene in Portland, and a lot of like dancing in the park and things like that. Us the white Portland people love a good dance, and they don't, they're not very good at it, but they're gonna dance and feel the music.
Yeah, this is really just sounding more and more like my place.
I think so. You could come meet a very nice goth girl with more piercings and tattoos than you've seen in your life, who's very down to earth and nice.
That's what I want. I think I'm going to
We'll
become
find-
the mayor of Portland.
Have to take that job from Kyle MacLachlan.
We will rule together.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
But it's something I liked about this movie is like a lot of the kind of interstitial or B-roll shots are just like showing the city of Portland, like either like
Yeah.
kind of like the nice, like the green hills and the neighborhoods, or just like, yeah, like random streets. Like after the DJ sets, like they show the Baghdad Theater, which is a place I really like to go see movies. Like it's a really like
Oh
it's a
yeah.
theater from the early 1900s that they've like renovated and has a balcony and is a really cool place to see movies. And I mean, they usually just play like the biggest movie of the week there. So like all the Marvel, like so like yeah, Marvel or superhero or big action movie comes out. It's like
Yeah.
I'll see it there because at least it's like a nice aesthetic.
Lady Ballers.
Lady Ballers is still playing there. I don't know
Yeah.
why they keep selling out. I don't you know you think Portland's
Well,
woke, but then they got the
Portland's
Lady Baller. We love Lady Ballers.
it's a big comedy city, Portland is. They
We
used to
love
have
it.
Bridgetown Comedy Festival. I've known a lot of comics that have at least spent a year or two in Portland doing comedy, and they all had good things to say. But yeah, you better believe I clocked the Baghdad Theater in that shot and was like, I hope that is still open when I'm in town because that looks awesome.
I think they will 100% be playing a Supergirl when you're in town. So it would be nice if
Wait.
they were playing Jackass 5.
I don't
But
think
they'll
they'll
be
be playing Supergirl
Isn't it?
because
That opens
the
the same weekend as Jackass 5.
I thought the Odyssey did.
I thought so too, but I'm wrong. The Odyssey's not until July. I just wanted it to open while you were here so I could trick you into seeing it.
We have we have established that I am not a big Christopher Nolan. Jeez, I thought Supergirl was like not coming out till November, but it's just a few weeks away. I will probably see
Yeah,
that. I like James Gunn a lot, and I like what he's doing, so I'll probably see that.
could be fun. We will
Yeah.
see.
I
But
loved Superman, so
it was a good time.
yeah. Yeah, we will be seeing Jackass 5.
And we'll be seeing Lost Highway as well.
Yes. And I will have seen Disclosure Day. Because I am very,
Okay.
very excited for Disclosure Day.
It looks good. The Spielberg magic's
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
this is so Carlos after this, they're hanging out. They're all like eating together at like a diner or a restaurant.
Yeah, it
Um,
looked cool. I liked the vibe of that. I made a note about the vibe of the diner.
Yeah, and they reference a couple restaurants like in the special thanks, and they thank the Skyline restaurant and Broder Nord. And I haven't been to either enough to like recognize. And this movie was shot 16, 17 years ago, so I'm sure some things have changed since then. And maybe Broder Nord has moved, or because I don't know
Yeah.
how long they've been at their current spot, but yeah, I mean, we love our restaurants and diners out here. We love the food and beer and coffee. Um, but another Carlos revelation is that he is a Star Trek nerd and wants to go to the Star Trek convention and invites
And
Doug.
has
And you'd think Doug would be into it, but Doug is very dismissive.
Yeah, which is to me, a red flag. Because Carlos is saying opinions about Star Trek, and every single one of them is correct. He's got a lot to say about Gul Dukat. He says he's one of the best characters on Deep Space Nine, and I am here to tell you that is true. That is a true fact about Deep Space Nine.
Carlos knows his Trek, and he's excited to see
Yeah.
Counselor Troy. Counselor Troy is going to be
Yeah.
at the convention, and if Counselor Troy comes along, you go to the convention. You see Counselor
Yeah.
Troy.
Yeah, she's one of the best Next Generation characters.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, and her mom, in both that and Deep Space Nine, is the horniest woman who has ever lived in any galaxy. And it's very funny. And she's played by the creator of Star Trek's wife.
Oh dang! It's kind of like how Zemeckis makes his wife his bust.
Yeah.
He puts his busty wife in all the movies. It's kind of a similar thing.
Yeah. Gene Roddenberry, somehow, hornier than Robert Zemeckis.
That's a tall order.
And yet, it is a tall order that is met and exceeded. So basically, she is playing him, but as Counselor Troy's mom. And it's funny every time.
We love it.
Yeah. I like Star Trek. I hope Christopher Nolan doesn't make a Star Trek.
Yeah, I wonder. It seems like at this point they're never going to make the Tarantino Star Trek. Paramount really fumbled the bag with the new Trek cast, because the cast was so great, and then you get like the first movie's solid, and then Into Darkness is just dumb J.J. Abrams bullshit, and then
it's
Beyond is fun.
Yeah, Beyond is cool. Into Darkness is just part of what really bugged me about that one. Is like for months leading up to it, everyone was like, okay, so it's just a remake of Wrath of Khan with Benedict Cumberbatch's Khan, and J.J. Abrams and everyone at Bad Robot was like, no, it's not that at all. And then we watch it, and it's just fucking what if Wrath of Khan was shitty instead? Like,
J.J. Teardass, what if Wrath of Khan sucked?
Yeah, and then, yeah, for months they're like, it's not Wrath of Khan, he's not playing Khan, his name's John Harrison. And then halfway through the movie he goes, I'm Khan. And everyone goes, yeah, we fucking know. Yeah, that movie, I'm still mad about that one.
And then somehow JJ got entrusted with Star Wars after that. Because it
least
made money. Because the first one people liked.
Yeah, even though it doesn't really feel that much like Star Trek, but it is fun.
Just the cast was so good. It's like you wish there could have been another 1 or 2 movies with that cast, because it was just they had good chemistry, and I mean all those people have gone on to do many great things, so it's probably never going to happen. And they're all like in their mid-40s or 50s now, so it just the time has passed.
Or unfortunately dead.
Oh, yeah. Which?
Anton Yelchin played Chekhov. And
he
had that really terrible accident. Yeah.
That's... Oh, I totally forgot he's in the cast, and he's so good. That's why.
Yeah, he was great.
And it's so sad about poor Anton. I forgot. I feel bad forgetting now.
That happened the day that I saw Green Room.
Oh, dang.
Like, I remember coming out of Green Room and, like, checking my phone and seeing that happen and just being like, what the there's no way. Yeah. Anyway. Carlos is smart about Star Trek and has good opinions, and it turns out Rachel also likes to go to Star Trek conventions.
Mm-hmm.
And so they go together, and I wish we could have seen the convention, but that's just more because I think Star Trek is cool.
Yeah, I mean, this film was they filmed it with the red camera, so it looks really nice. But it's I think just very, it's a mumblecore, so very low budget.
Yeah, they don't have that Marina Sirtis money.
No. But Carlos is a bro. He's asking Doug. He's like, hey, I know Rachel's your ex. Like, it's cool if I take her to the convention. And Doug's like, yeah. Like, Carlos is a good guy. Like, seemed like he's a DJ, so that was a little suspect. But he's proved himself a good guy with his Star Trek takes, and he's actually good taste in music for doing a DJ. And then another interstitial. It shows the Laurelhurst Theater, which is another cool small theater that I've been to many times, and we will probably see Jackass there because it is by the really good shawarma place. I want to take you when you're here.
I am hoping that the shawarma place takes part in Nacho Week, because I am very curious as to what shawarma nachos would be.
It's the shawarma place is a food cart, so I do not think it'll be a Nacho Week participant, unfortunately. But it is the best shawarma I've had in the States. It has that somehow it captures that same magic that I had with the Ukrainian shawarmas.
I am excited. I do like a good shawarma. I might.
You're going to gain weight. That's a promise.
I might wind up squatting in your home. And I apologize for that in advance. But it really just seems more and more like Portland is the place for me.
I mean, that was part about like wanting to watch this movie and have you come out. It's just trying to convince you to move here.
Yeah. It's so far it's going great.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, I have actually literally been looking at apartments to see, just to get an idea of what it would take for me to move out there. So,
right. I mean, it's gotten, like everywhere, it's gotten more expensive. So that's unfortunate. But there's still some affordable pockets.
Yeah,
but, yeah, go ahead.
It looked more affordable than I thought when I started looking. So, hopefully, I can make it happen in a year or so.
Fingers crossed. But Carlos, is played by the actor Raul Castillo. He's been in some random stuff. He's in the show Task that came out last year. He's like buds with like the main criminal and participates in some of the criminal behavior, and is very good in the show. And again, just I think him and Gail are kind of the most interesting characters in this movie. Like, they have the most personality.
He's in Smile 2, which I liked quite a bit as well. Smile 2 was fun.
He's been in like some pretty solid stuff. Like,
yeah. He is in a Guy Ritchie movie that is somewhat recent that I definitely didn't see.
Oh, which one?
Wrath of Man, which is the one that I've heard is good. So, and he's in Unsane with the Blair Witch guy. I haven't seen that in a while, but I did like that movie quite a bit. Anyway, so he's got correct Star Trek thoughts. They all work at the ice factory. Maybe I'll get a job at the ice factory.
We'll see if they're hiring. You could get. I guess you're getting more than $8 an hour. You're getting that $15.50 an hour or whatever at the ice factory.
Yeah.
And so I guess Rachel hangs out. I guess Carlos goes to Rachel's. They go to the. We don't see it, but they go to the convention and then they go watch some Next Generation at her hotel after the con. And there's something happening. It's exciting.
Yeah, and Next Generation is great. So again, good people.
And I think it's this moment where like Carlos invites Doug to go to another one of his DJ sets, and Doug is just like, "Oh, like I want to watch the Blazer game." It's like, can't you ditch your DJ set and come watch the Blazer game?
To be fair, his DJ set is at 8, which is not a good DJ set time.
It's a bad time, and it is right in the middle of the Blazer game, so it's hard choice.
Yeah,
but Rachel's gonna go on a date with a guy named Swen.
Gail is
not Rachel. Again, I'm getting them confused.
Yeah, it was about this point in the movie that I made a really important connection that I probably should have made 20 years ago. So they talk a lot about Sherlock Holmes, right? At the time that this movie came out, there was a television program called House MD, where House was like the doctor, the medical version of Sherlock Holmes. And House, Holmes, House, Home. It's a play on that, and I should have figured that out 20 years ago, but it happened while I was watching this movie instead. And I was like, it was right there the whole time.
I was not aware of that.
And I have watched every episode of House, most of them multiple times. So, yeah, I cannot believe I didn't put that together until this.
It's not what you'd expect. Gosh, I can't.
That is not important at all, but it is a thought that I had and wrote down.
I feel like this is a failure of cracked.com. They should have written about this in a Cracked article at some point.
Yeah. Well, it's
They
also
didn't.
I hate puns, so I'm never thinking about them. And yeah. So that occurred to me, and like I kind of almost got mad. Anyway, so Rachel is also invited to this DJ set.
She's going out with
Eh.
Swen, though. No time for DJ
No.
Sweat.
Gail
Sad Swen.
is the one that is going out with
Gail.
Swen.
Oh, gosh.
Yes. She has the short hair and glasses, and that's how they are different looking.
She doesn't wear glasses that often.
But she does sometimes. But yeah, Rachel doesn't show up for the 8 p.m. DJ set, even though she made it very clear that she was going to go. Doug doesn't think that's a big deal, but Carlos is a little bit freaked out because he's been either reading too much Sherlock Holmes or watching too much House MD, and thinks that there's foul play afoot.
He, wakes up Doug. And this is, I guess, where the plot begins.
Yeah. Like 40 minutes into this hour-and-a-half movie.
Yeah. So Doug is just very kind of, blasé about the situation. He's just kind of being a turd, just kind of begrudgingly going along. And they go to the motel where I guess I don't know if we talked about, like, Rachel's in town for work, and her company has put her up in a hotel, but it's actually just a motel, and this we kind of find out later that the work is not like your traditional work. It's
She says she works at a law office, but
Yeah.
none of that. I work at a law office, and this does not sound like anything that anybody I know that works there has done.
Yeah, and
So.
just weird because she was like, oh, like the headquarters are in Portland, but they have like an office in Chicago, and it's like, well, it seems like that would be the opposite since Chicago's like the bigger city. But maybe there are places like it. Just seemed weird. But yeah, she's staying at a motel, and the door is open, and the lights are on.
Yeah. But she's not in there.
Nope.
Not at all. It is. They find out what room she is in, and it's room 35. And it's really funny when they're trying to get into room 35. They tell the motel clerk, I had a really good experience in room 35, and I'd like to recreate it. Which is not a weird thing to say to a hotel man.
I mean, these sketchy motels have probably heard it all, so it's just like whatever, man. It's because when they go to the room at first, like they're sitting in, and then they notice a truck outside, and like a guy is like staring at them from the truck, and Doug's like, let's maybe play it cool, and Carlos is just like, and just charges right out of there, and charges right for the truck.
Not even casually like, hey man, what's going on out here? Just like angrily running at the truck, which obviously drives off. I think at this point I wrote down, they're as good of being detectives as I would be.
It's very realistic. Just some hesitancy and ineptitude. But I love that, like after this happens, Carlos is like, we need common sense. Like, we need to call your sister.
And then he says, we're not calling my sister. Hard cut to them at the diner with his sister and Swen. And then my next note is, oh good, Swen thinks he's being helpful. Because he chimes in with some dumb shit.
He's like, oh, there was a situation like this before, but maybe it was different. Like, like they crashed the date, and
thanks, Swen
is completely useless. But then then they go back to the motel, and then they get the room next door.
They have to settle for room 34 where they didn't have the good experience previously.
And they use the balcony to get into her room. They share balconies, and then Doug lets Carlos in, and they find like like an exotic or erotic like magazine ad that has the name Amanda Brooke and a phone number. And so they call the number, ask for him. It's a motel. They ask for Amanda Brooke, and then the phone in Rachel's room starts ringing. So something is definitely afoot.
Yeah. I like how like the seedy noir elements are like kind of mundane in this one, as opposed to like some of the classics where it's just kind of very upfront.
Yeah, it's like you got the seedy motel and some of this other stuff, but I mean, this whole movie's very subdued. It's not like people aren't really like yelling or it's got a score, but it's a pretty light score.
It's a cool score though. I really liked the
really good
score. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they do some detective work and they find a notepad. And earlier like Carlos mentioned something about like, oh, like Rachel's like into baseball. She has like all these stats written down or whatever. And then you see the notepad, and then
Doug's like, well, that's weird because she would never go to a White Sox game with me, and I asked a lot.
He kept asking her.
But like me being a baseball person was just like, well, the White Sox have sucked for like 30 years. I like baseball, and I probably wouldn't have gone either. And I'm a Brewers fan. We haven't been good until recently. So.
So you see the kind of notepad on the next to the bed, and he does the Big Lebowski trick of using the pencil to kind of see what was on the previous page, and instead of a man with a large penis, it is a bunch of numbers.
and the phrase "Jackie Treehorn treats objects like women."
Man,
just kidding. I didn't say that, but you can imagine what it would be like if it did.
Yeah. It would be fun, a nice nod. But, I mean, it is already a nod to the Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
But then, they go to check out, and the hotel guy's like, oh, that's kind of weird, because some other guy checked into that room and checked out. And they find
a couple hours later, just like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And they find a receipt from, like, a Chinese restaurant that has the name Jim on it.
Yeah.
So they're getting clues.
Someone mentions that he was wearing a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Which is, if I was a suspicious person, I would not be wearing a cowboy hat, because especially in a city like Portland, you don't see a lot of cowboy hats. I live in rural Montana and I don't see a lot of cowboy hats. So
You'll see more derby hats here. There is a haberdashery down in downtown Portland, so
we go.
We got the hat store here, so that's so Doug got these numbers and he goes to the library to read about breaking codes.
Well, he also decides to finally take being a detective seriously and goes to buy a pipe. Which he doesn't realize that pipes are kind of expensive. And really, this whole sequence made me want to watch the Tom Goes to the Mayor pipe camp episode again, because I remember thinking that was really, really funny back when that was on Adult Swim. But so he buys a pipe and then goes back out to the car and goes to light it and realizes he forgot to buy tobacco for the pipe, which is a real rookie mistake if I've ever seen one. And kind of shows that maybe he's not responsible enough to own a pipe. Have you ever smoked a pipe? Like a tobacco pipe?
I have not. So
okay.
I have not ever smoked tobacco,
Okay. Sometimes when I visit my dad, we have cigars and or a pipe. A tobacco pipe. And I don't know that anyone looks cool smoking a pipe unless you're like Groucho Marx. But it is satisfying. It feels cool even if it doesn't look cool.
You got to be like a surly. You pretty much have to be like the sailor guy, the sea captain from The Simpsons. That's the kind of guy you got to be, like Willem Dafoe from The White House.
Yeah, and that's how I feel on the inside. So I feel like I'm pulling it off, but I'm only doing that with members of my family who would just say, "Yeah, that does look cool," even if it didn't. So.
That's
anyway,
But it's $465 for the pipe, which I was not aware pipes were that expensive either. So it's a shocking to
Well,
me.
I was not surprised at all. And then he was like, well, I was kind of looking for something in the $20 range. And the guy was like, yeah, I bet I can find something for you. And then he pulls out like a shitty corncob pipe.
Yeah.
And sold.
He's like, I was hoping for like the swoopy kind of thing. And it's like, well, that
like a
makes
Freud
it cost
pipe.
more.
Yeah. Yeah. And then throughout the rest of the movie, just like occasionally him and Carlos are just smoking the pipe inside, and it never looks cool, and it's funny every time. Because Gail never looks happy about it.
Gail is rightfully upset.
Yeah. But you don't smoke a pipe in the house. This isn't...
But it's around this time, too, where Doug goes he's with Gail, and they actually go to the website that's on the card.
Well, he also buys the porno magazine
that
is mentioned when he goes back for the tobacco. So it's actually good that he made the rookie mistake.
You need to get the magazine. But they go to the website, and there's he's kind of like navigating Gail and telling her what to do, and she's like, oh, you seem pretty familiar with how this kind of site works, don't you? So some nice brother and sister ribbing, and this is where you find out there's pictures of Rachel on the site, and she's going by the name Amanda Brooke, so she's kind of unclear.
Which explains
if she's like a sex
why
worker
the phone it explains why the phone in her hotel room rang when they were looking for that. And then there's a variation on the every mumblecore character sucks at basketball trope, where he goes to a batting cage and sucks at baseball instead. So it's kind of fun to do the trope but subvert it in that way. But that's where he kind of gets the baseball stats code figured out while he's being bad at batting cage.
Yeah, he figures that out, and then finds his sister at the grocery outlet in the Hollywood neighborhood of Portland, which is a grocery store I've been to many times and is very cool because it's like a 50s kind of throwbacky facade, and good deals at the grocery outlet.
Yeah, it looked like a cool store. Yeah.
Good for cheap drinks.
So again, I may end up squatting in your house, and I'm going to do a really good job of hiding until squatters' rights take hold. And I'll live in Portland.
Well, we are going to be having another house guest while you're here. We're going to be watching over our friend Vaughn's dog, Glacier, who is a Great Pyrenees mountain dog. So she takes up a lot of room.
Well, I am also friends with Vaughn. So I will just tell him to be real cool about it if he sees me. And he probably will. He probably would be cool about it because Vaughn is cool.
He probably would. He would love for you to move out here. He's pro people moving here. So
so he's in Portland. I thought he was in Seattle for some reason.
He was there. Moved to Portland a few years ago. Has a house in Portland. And also has a house on the coast. But he's going out of the country for a few months, and we're looking after his dog, one of his dogs.
So you're saying that if I move there, I could hang out with you and Vaughn?
Vaughn won't be here, but his dog will be here.
No, like if I move out there. I assume he's returning. Yeah.
He'll be here. He'll be around.
All right, well, that's good news for me and Vaughn. And you. And the dog.
He's got two. We just taken one of them, but they're both very energetic and large. So that'll be... Yeah. You're going to have to fight Glacier for space. She takes up a lot of room.
Yeah. Well, that is exciting. Yeah, so they crack the baseball stats code and find out that there's something happening at a payphone 12 minutes from what time it is when they crack the code.
Yeah, it's 3 p.m. Sunday on like Southeast Brooklyn Street.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then they go to the shadiest looking payphone next to one of Portland's 4 bridges. And, yeah, that's where I put the note. Guess that's why they call it Bridgetown. Ha, ha, ha. And then my next note is, oh, good, he's got a knife.
He does
just like pulls out a knife. And Gail's like, what is that for? And he doesn't really have an answer.
And he's ready. And yeah, the bridge goes over train tracks. It doesn't even go over the river. So it's not even one of the good bridges. But it is very useful because those train tracks it seems like a train is on those tracks at the most inconvenient time. And those tracks do go over, like, stop traffic constantly at some very important intersections. And so there used to be a website where you could see if there was a train at a certain crossing. But but it was just like people who worked in an office nearby. And because I think COVID, like, everyone worked from home and stuff, that website went down. But it is like truly like the bane of everyone's existence is the train crossing at the Division and like 11th or 12th. It's terrible. I've gotten stuck at that crossing several times. The trains are never short.
I was just assuming it was a website that was never updated and just like you type in the URL and it's just a black screen with big red letters that say, yes.
Train.
Yeah. Train here. Yeah. Yeah, so they kind of find out what's going on. What Rachel was really there to do, she works for Cowboy Hat Jim, who is a erotic photographer, and she is bringing money from Chicago to Portland for him. And that money has disappeared, so she disappeared too because she's concerned about it. And then Doug comes to the conclusion, well, he says, I've come to the conclusion that you're involved in some fucked up shit. Which
it's a very funny line.
Yeah. It's like, well, we really don't quite know.
He's got to deliver the money near Mount Hood. Again, kind of unclear. And this is where it kind of gets convoluted because it's like Jim has her bring the money to Portland, but like, is she supposed to bring the money to Jim, or because Jim takes back the briefcase? Is he giving it to someone else and saying, is he like going to take it and like give it to someone else and say that like, oh, like that she lost the briefcase. And so I don't know, like it doesn't get into the detail of what the money's going on or why it's weird that he took it back. That's never settled.
No. Yeah. The one thing about this movie is you're going to have a lot of unanswered questions, but that's how life is.
And it's, kind of, I feel like, and maybe I'll get more into this at the end, but the movie's, I feel like ultimately just like about Gail and Doug. It is like, this is a movie about a brother and sister, like having good times together and like kind of reestablishing like their friendship and their like familial bonds. Cause even like when they have their parents over early in the movie, it's like the stepdad is kind of shitty and like very judgy of Doug, and it's like they're not like the parents just seem very not involved like in their kids' lives.
Yeah. It's so detached that you didn't even realize that they were brother and sister while they were talking to their parents.
True. Very confused. But
I should be Sherlock Holmes because I did figure it out.
You're smarter than me at investigating. You got all the clues.
And I've smoked a pipe. So, 2 things.
What about cocaine?
No, I've never done that. But I've been offered it. So, there we go.
Who hasn't been offered cocaine?
There's another trope that happens shortly after this. Doug wants to go somewhere and he wants to borrow Gail's car. So we have the trope of a man trying to talk to a woman while she's trying to do something private in the bathroom with the door shut, and he keeps trying to talk to her anyway. Which has come up so much that it has to be a trope.
It is a trope now because it is weird. it's
It
worth
has
it to
happened.
happen once, let alone several times.
It happened in the first one, and then in most of what we've covered since then.
Yeah, it's a weird one, but
Yeah.
they use their detective skills, and in one of the pictures in the nudie mag, they see a palm tree, which is like palm tree in Portland, not very common. Where could this be? And it is across the street from the Rasmussen Apartments on Northeast Gleason Street, which is a neighborhood and street I've
Yeah.
been on many times. It's the Kearns neighborhood, which was voted coolest U.S. neighborhood last year. And
And
it is a cool neighborhood with lots of good food and the Laurel Hearst Theater. It's just, it's good vibes over there.
I was really into the aesthetics of that apartment and assumed it would be more rundown than it apparently is, based
Oh,
off
I
of
mean,
how it looked.
there are shitty apartments over there. Like I was telling you earlier,
Yeah.
my friend lived in one over there that was like a studio that was like less than $1,000, but it was not great. It had character, but just old and a little a
Yeah.
little shitty. But
Maybe
they're
I'll find a
staking it
nice
out.
one bedroom over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and Carlos is like saying, "Oh, it would be nice to have pistachios for this stakeout." And I thought that really does seem like a good stakeout food. And then something that I stole from a Letterboxd review that I read about this, they do find Swedish fish in the car, which they then eat. And what are Swedish fish?
I don't know.
Red herrings.
What?
Yes. Oh, what a crazy thing. So they're on this stakeout, and Doug has called out of work from the ice factory, and then he talks Carlos into it. And so my next note is, I guess no one's going to the ice factory today.
No ice shall be delivered in all of
Yeah.
Portland.
Doug also says he's really worried about the Swedish fish getting stuck in his teeth, so he doesn't want any. But shortly after that, we see him eat like 30 of them. So I guess he
Yeah.
wasn't that concerned.
Well, yeah, Gail comes and like relieves Carlos, and then Carlos just kind of
Yeah.
goes to stay with Rachel. And then it's just, and yeah, Gail, it's funny. She has the line of just like, she's like, you need to get in the driver's seat because I don't like how you drive.
Classic sibling stuff.
And
Yeah.
they're just kind of talking. And I think like something that kind of can capture. But yeah, they're just talking. And then Doug kind of brings up something. He likes to bring up things like, I don't want to upset you, but I'm going to say this thing.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like, you don't have any friends, like, really, Gail.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, like, I was dating a guy like last November. It's like, she's like, I met him on the internet, and like, it's like, oh, that's a big deal to meet someone on the internet in 2010.
Yeah, it's like internet dating has existed for 20 years at this point, and before that, people would literally like send self-made videotapes to a service, and then they'd send compilations of those tapes to potential suitors, and the suitors' tapes to them, and if you like their tapes, yeah, Hinge is so much easier than that, but also it sucks. So
Seems bad. Seems tough
Yeah.
out there. Glad I don't
Yeah,
have to do it.
yeah,
But this is, yeah, she kind of talks about her date, like, and walking over the Hawthorne Bridge. And it's like, oh, that's fun. Yeah, that is a fun date. And I was like, oh, yeah, like, my wife and I walked across the Hawthorne Bridge not too long ago. And from downtown over to the east side. And yeah, the David Lynch mural that was painted shortly after his death last year is just across the Hawthorne Bridge. So we'll be in that area, Greg, when you visit.
yeah. I was gonna say I might squat at that mural if I feel like you guys are on to me at your house.
Well, you won't be the only one sleeping in a tent over there.
Hell yeah!
I'll tell you that. But yeah, I think this kind of hits upon just how lonely sometimes like the city can feel. Like especially like a lot of people here, like transplants, kind of. You know, you got all like the weird kids in their school, like all kind of move to Portland because it's like, oh, I'll go to a place where I'm less weird and find people like me. But it can feel very isolating, and I don't know, the weather kind of plays to that too, where it's like you're not out and about as much, And so I think some of and of course, like kind of the gray, dreary sky and the weather can just make you feel sad. I mean, right, seasonal affective disorder is a real thing. And yeah,
Which, if you take the initials of that, it spells sad.
Exactly right.
Man,
you solved the puzzle, Sherlock.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a detective.
You're a detective. And so it just, I think ultimately, like, this movie is kind of about, finding connection, like, through the loneliness. And it's like, oh, yeah, he's able to connect with Carlos, and, like, him and his sister are able to, like, reconnect and kind of, like, reforge their bond. Because it's like, through a lot of the movie up to now, it seems like his sister is, like, a little, like, she's going along with his stuff, but, like, is kind of, like, a little annoyed by it. But then, like, as the mystery unfolds and, like, she helps him, like, and goes along with, like, kind of diving into, like, who these people are and, like, trying to find the money, like, it kind of seems like she's, like, getting more into it as they're going along. And it's like, I don't know, it's kind of just like a fun or interesting, like, bonding experience between them. It's like, oh, like, they're able to get closer, like, through this thing. Like, he doesn't want to be a CSI detective, he wants to be a Sherlock Holmes detective, and he's, like, getting his chance, and he's there for the ride, and it's fun for both of them.
Yeah, she might not be the biggest fan of the pipe, but that's okay.
That is okay.
So anyway, they watch Cowboy Jim come out of his apartment dressed like a cowboy, which makes him really easy to spot in Portland.
Yeah.
Not really a cowboy town. It's not a one-horse town by any means. It's more of a four-bridge town.
There might be like 10 or 12 bridges, but there's a lot. If you count the bridges over the river, there's only so many, and then there are lots of bridges over some of the highways, and then there's like the Columbia River. Anyways, we could just turn this into bridge talk and be talking bridges all day. But
if we start a Patreon, we'll do a bridge episode.
We'll walk every bridge in Portland.
Yeah, and then I'll reminisce about some bridges I walked across in New York.
This is like a good bridge, but she's following after him. He has like kind of an old muscle car, and she has a Subaru, which is another Portland trope because everyone has a Subaru. And there was some meme or something I came across, I forget, like a year or two ago, but it's basically like if you go to any Google Street View in Portland, there will be a Subaru in the frame.
I did make note, A, Cowboy Jim has a cool car. B, this is a good chase scene, and also maybe the only chase scene I've ever seen where the pursuer is driving a beat-up Subaru station wagon. And C, Cowboy Jim, this is probably the easiest day of work he's ever had. I don't even know if he has any lines. All he has to do is walk around and sit down wearing a cowboy hat and sometimes carry a briefcase. Like, that's a good day of work.
It's not bad. Yeah, they go to a weird storage unit and I feel like those big indoor storage facilities are just kind of inherently creepy. And I know like the movie Backrooms is opening this weekend, which kind of plays on that like liminal space. But yeah, like the storage units just feel like you're in some kind of alternate liminal dimension.
But that is also probably the most interesting shot we've seen. That and the scene of them at the falls on the bridge are probably the two most interesting shots we've seen in anything we've covered so far.
Yeah.
Like, they are the most composed shots, at least. Not to say the camera work and other stuff is bad, because a lot of times it works really well for what they're going for, but, like, those were beautiful.
Yeah, I think this was... Yeah, a very well shot movie, and they used the red camera, which I know was so popular at the time, and some people couldn't use it that well. Again, it's like you got to know how to use it. Like, and I feel like
my roommate in 2008 won a $20,000 sweepstakes, and we almost blew all of it on a red camera.
That would have been dope.
But instead, we bought a big TV and Rock Band 2.
That's fun.
And somehow he got one of those giant checks And somehow I wound up with his big giant check for like 3 years. I don't really remember how I wound up with it, because it was not mine. I had no use for it. Yeah.
Very strange. But he goes to the storage facility. It's mainly doors, and he gets the briefcase and leaves. And so they're chasing after him.
Jim he's just walking around with a briefcase. They go to a restaurant where Cowboy Jim is talking to some guy. He has a briefcase, and they're trying to figure out what to do.
They don't just go to some restaurant, Greg. They go to Montage, which unfortunately closed during COVID, but was a very popular kind of nighttime spot, Cajun food. But they were primarily, I guess they still have a food cart somewhere in town. But they were famous for their mac and cheese, and I had their I mean, it's over 10 years ago. I was there and got the mac and cheese, and it was delicious. But it was weird seeing Montage in the light of day, because it's typically like, again, it's known for being like a late night kind of spot, or was when it existed. So R.I.P. Montage.
Now it's just remembered as a late night spot.
Yeah, but they see the truck there as well from the motel, and it's like some fat old guy that Jim goes to sit down with the briefcase. Gail and Doug sit at the bar, and Doug's trying to play it safe, and Gail's like, we should just take the briefcase. Like, we should just take it and leave. Like,
just
what are they going to do?
Run. Yeah.
Because she's like, oh, like, should we call the cops? And Doug's like, well, like, if we call the cops, we're not going to see the briefcase again. And she's like, well, let's just take it. And they have some good ideas. She asks the barkeeper if they have any, like, a lost and found, because she's going to, like, a costume party. And the barkeeper's cool with it. She's like, yeah, we got some old stuff. Like, we don't care. And
unfortunately, we see our old nemesis from 2 weeks ago when she gets her disguise together, because it does involve a fucking fedora.
Not quite the. If it was the same fedora as Hump Day, that'd be fun. But because you could imagine him leaving it there at the restaurant. Like, he's very forgetful. David, is that his name? I can't remember.
Andrew, I think.
Andrew. There we go. And so they come up with a plan. He asks for a coin so we can take off the license plate, so they won't be ID'd. Which, again, this is a Portland trope that is also explored in season 1 of The Rehearsal, which was filmed in the Portland area. Because the second episode, when he's with that weird guy,
Robin,
who doesn't have a license plate on his car. There was, at that point in the pandemic, there was a lot of illegal street racing going on, and not a lot of people with license plates on their cars. It was like really weird. Just like, it's like, I guess the cops just aren't doing their jobs. Like, it was so common for people not to have license plates. Like, people would like steal cars and just like take off the license plates or whatever, or they didn't want to like.
If I move out there, I could meet Robin.
You could, yeah. We could go to that Mexican spot. They stop at the Tecos. It's pretty solid.
I want to talk numbers with Robin. I wonder how he feels about 8.
He's into it.
Have you ever driven without a license plate?
I haven't, because I am too scared of consequences.
So, when you buy a car from a private seller like I did 2 years ago, they obviously don't give you the little piece of paper to put in your windshield that says, I just bought a new car. And so you just don't have a license plate. And so I have driven without one, literally to go to the license plate place and get one. And just even that 2 hour, because I also had to go like update my license to say that I lived here before I went there. So I basically drove around for 2 hours total without a license plate, and it was the most stressful driving of my life. Like, I had all the paperwork, so if I had been pulled over, I would have been fine, but still, it was just like, I don't have a license plate, and I don't like the police. This is fucking terrifying.
This is scary. You need that the confidence of Robin.
Yeah, like when I got my license plate at the DMV, like those license plates were on before I left the parking lot. You better believe it. I was just like, finally, I can breathe easy.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. But
Yeah.
so they set the plan. He's like, come out in like 2 minutes. He leaves. He remembers he has a knife in his pocket, and he stabs the tires out of the truck and Jim's car, which is a smart move. I'm like, all right, Doug isn't completely worth. Like, he has his moments. Like, you're like, okay, like he's got the. But I feel like this whole sequence, like when they're at the storage facility, and then here when he like takes off the license plate and drives around the block, and he's like waiting for her to come out of the restaurant. It is like super tense, like probably like the most tense of any scene of any movie we've watched for this series. Like it's like
it's really saying something, because we've watched Daddy Longlegs
and Frownland,
which are both just like experiments in just reveling in tension. But yeah, just the camera work and editing, like really, I can see why this guy is kind of thrown around as like one of the better mumblecore directors, because like there are some real good stylistic choices that we haven't seen in anything else. Which again, not to say that those are bad, but like this is real filmmaking stuff.
Yeah, it's well composed. Like in the early scene with the dinner with the parents, it's doing a similar thing like Joe Swanberg did, where it's like, oh, you're hearing dialogue of people who aren't on camera, but like it makes sense. Like it's shot well. Like it's not just some weird arbitrary thing. It's like, oh, like it's composed, it's intentional, and it works.
Yeah. So basically, they escape from Cowboy Jim because of slashing his tires.
He chases after. Yeah, she finally comes out, and they switch because he gets out of the car because he's like, it's the 2 minutes is up, and she gets in the driver's seat, which I think is appropriate since she doesn't like how he drives. And
yeah. And then they go to the top of a parking garage, call Carlos and Rachel, and say, hey, we're up here. We got the briefcase. They don't really mention that they slashed Jim's tires. And they don't really mention that they have a fedora now either, because that would be embarrassing to admit. And so they just sit up there and wait and start joking about mixtapes that he has made, and he puts one in, and it's like this weird, like early 80s, it kind of sounds like throbbing gristle, just like almost unlistenable industrial music. Music that I have tried to get into and struggled with, and I'm pretty open to most music. And then he's like, I got something you'd like, and then it just ends. So I wonder where it goes. Yeah.
She's kept the mixtapes from high school that he made her, and like he's like, oh yeah, there's something at the beginning of the tape I want you to hear, and again, and that's why I think it's like, oh yeah, this is about them. Like it kind of starts with them and then ends with them, and it's just, like
reestablishing their nice dynamic and appreciating each other as adults.
Yeah, it's like they're friends, but they're siblings, like they're supporting each other, and it's kind of like, oh, like she's, he's kind of come back into her life, and like I feel like this whole experience has helped them like reconnect to whatever they were like. It seemed like they were pretty well connected the whole movie, but like it kind of just, I think it shows like kind of goes full circle where it's like, oh, it's like, yeah, he was making mixtapes for in high school. Like they seemed just like really close, and they're able to reestablish that connection, and it's nice to have a good support system like that. So I guess one comment I have that we've had the Portland the tropes that they've gotten right, but some of the stuff is a little wrong. And in the getaway scene, that train I talked about earlier goes right by a montage. So if it was a realistic depiction of Portland, that train would have been there as they were leaving. Because again, it comes at the most inconvenient times, and it is never short, and it's hard to leave. So and
Cowboy Jim would have caught him because they're the only car without a license plate.
It's true.
Yeah.
But that could have added some tension if
Yeah.
again, but not enough people with tattoos or piercings, kind of like mentioned earlier. Greg's dream girl didn't get any
Yeah.
no goth baddies tatted up and pierced to the brim. So that's even like I work as an accountant. Even some of my accounting coworkers have like multiple tattoos. It's pretty common and normal here in Portland.
If you are a goth baddie in the Portland area, my DMs are open.
If you're into David Lynch and new wave music, Greg's DMs are open.
And want to date a guy that looks like straight John Waters? I'm right here.
Great John Waters, not a bad look.
Yeah. Also, I love John Waters. So, that's a bonus, too.
Mm-hmm.
We go watch Desperate Living together.
If you can,
the one that's more fucked up than Pink Flamingos. Yeah, I love that movie. It's so funny.
There is an above 0% chance to finding that woman here in Portland. So,
wow. Okay, I'm gonna wear my Desperate Living shirt. Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, kind of other random notes. The Treese Kelly Dunn, who plays Gail, born in Provo, Utah, 3 days before my brother. So maybe they were in the hospital at the same time. And she's on the show Banshee, which we've talked about before. And
which is a great show.
Yeah. If you love violence and sex, you will love Banshee.
Yeah, and who the hell don't? Besides the citizens of Provo, Utah, where we have both lived for several years.
Where we have spent many time. But
we were the only two people in town that had heard of either of those things.
It's true.
Yes.
And she was in United 93 before this, so everyone's favorite rewatchable movie, United 93.
Yeah, a movie I've seen once, and that was fine. Like, I think I'm all good on United 93 watches. I saw it opening night. In a room full of sobbing people, including myself. And that was fine. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I need to revisit that one. I get it. I know about... I have not forgotten 9/11, nor have I forgotten United 93.
Never forget. But, I guess I was surprised that... I mean, this is Aaron Katz's third movie. And he only made 5, so he only made 2 other movies after that. It's kind of... Because, I
think he's working on something now.
Oh, good. Yeah, because he's, I think, just got a really good eye for visual storytelling, and I think, this is just a nice little noir story, and I think he was very effective at, like, kind of doing that, like, within the mumblecore milieu, and I think it's just and I was surprised because a lot of reading the descriptions, it seemed like and even like the trailer makes it seem like a very serious movie, but then kind of in a lot of the descriptions it said it was like a comedy, and it is lighter than I expected.
Yeah, it's not quite The Nice Guys, but it is like a comedy mystery in a very understated and interesting way. And it's just nice to see like one of these movies with a plot that extends beyond character relationships, because that's kind of what the more plotty ones we have watched have been focused around, and this has got action to some small degree. Like, there is a chase scene. There is pipe smoking. There is chasing a guy in a parking lot.
Yeah, but even though it's not so, I mean, it's still fairly character driven too. Like, again, like you really get
definitely.
like a sense of these people, and like by the, like I said, it's like, this brother sister relationship's at the heart of this, and like that's what the movie's about. Like, so some of like the questions about like the briefcase and the details about that, it's like, well, maybe not so important, because what really matters is like is this relationship. But I mean, yeah, like other mumblecore movies, this premiered at South by Southwest in 2010. Didn't get a wide release until 2011, but yeah, got pretty good reviews. But it's still
And
a very under the radar movie.
by wide release, it played in probably like 10 to 15 theaters
Yeah.
in only major cities. Like, we were pretty plugged into movies, and we had not heard about this until like 3 months ago.
Yeah,
And
and
it's very good.
it's a gem. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's part of this project is to find these gems and share them with the world. But I
Yeah.
think
It's
yeah,
just,
like
I was just saying, it's really cool to see him take so much from what these other movies are doing, but then add genre elements
yeah.
to it too, and without like breaking the bank budget wise. Like, you can do that sort of thing on such a limited budget and it'll still turn out pretty great.
Yeah.
Like, the closest thing I can think to something that also really achieves that is Brick, and that has like names in it, like Joseph
Yeah.
Gordon-Levitt, the star of Pinocchio 2022.
And yeah, I really appreciated this, even though obviously I'm biased because I live in Portland. Like, you
Yeah.
do get a sense of place in it, and I think, and I'm surprised because a lot of the movies we've watched kind of feel like they're set like in anonymous places. Like even like Hump Day is set in Seattle and was filmed there, but like you wouldn't necessarily know it was in Seattle.
Unless you, like one of our guests on that episode, have lived in Seattle and are familiar with like the alt publications and like alternative festivals that most people are probably not plugged into.
Yeah, but like I said, like
Yeah.
they a lot of like the kind of B-roll and like establishing or interstitial shots just really highlight the beauty. Like I feel like this and Medicine for Melancholy, they're like the two movies we watched so far that have actually used the city and the production design of the city like in the most effective ways.
I would argue a little bit for Daddy Longlegs, but that could
Daddy
just be
Longlegs,
because
yeah.
like it felt like how New York felt to me, the way it was shot and everything.
Yeah,
But that also
was
just could be what I'm bringing to it.
that was the other one I thought. Yeah, when I was kind of thinking about this earlier, like that was the other movie that came to mind. It's like those three definitely have the strongest sense of place and like kind of a point of view almost on that place. It's like this movie's
Frownland a
set-
little bit too.
Well, I mean, you used to have a little bit like they're going to the woods, they're going to Six Flags, so you get a little bit of that too.
Frownland taps into New York City's obsession with having scaffolding everywhere. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, but I just feel like they use the production design of the city effectively, like more so than like even like right the first Funny Haha, it's like set in Boston, but it feels like
It feels like a
0%
movie that's
Boston.
it feels like a movie that just takes place in an apartment
Yeah.
for the most part.
Which I mean, yeah, a lot of these movies were shot indoors, and I mean, right, like Nights and Weekends, they do some Chicago stuff, but it's just like here's the bean, and like that's about it.
Yeah, and that's like one of the big touristy things. Like if they had gone to the Sears Tower, it would have just been like, oh, they're not actually from here.
Yeah, and like right, like Multnomah Falls is probably outside of Powell's one of the big Portland area landmarks, but like again, like that shot he does at the falls is just incredibly well composed and just incredibly breathtaking. Like he's taking like a common spot, but like doing interesting things with it.
Yeah, like my immediate reaction upon seeing that shot was like, okay, so we are going there. I want to see that. That is beautiful.
Yeah, and it's like 20-30 minutes out of town. Like it's right off the highway. It's like super cool, but it's again like all up and down the Columbia Gorge. There are tons of waterfalls. That's kind of obviously the most popular, and there's you can hike up to the bridge. It's super busy, so we're gonna have to figure that out, but we'll go out there and have a great time. You'll see the waterfall.
If several large and heavy boxes addressed to me show up at your house like the day before I got there, don't worry about it.
Fair. I'll put them in the garage for you.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, maybe some bias being, a Portlander right now, but just it's a good representation of the city. I thought, like I said, you get some good landmarks in there that are very local specific, and I think conveys certain the dreariness and kind of the isolation and the community that you can find in the city as well. Because I think that's kind of another part of this. It's like, oh yeah, it's like they're building their community, like with Carlos and his sister. It's like they got their peeps, and that's what you need to be happy in this world.
Yeah, like Daddy Longlegs made me miss Brooklyn, but this made me really excited for my trip in a couple of weeks, or right now if you're listening to this the weekend it comes out.
Which, yeah, we'll be having a good time.
I am at that waterfall right now.
We're at the waterfall. We're at all the waterfalls. We're at the books. We're at the bridges.
We're at the squatting in Steve's basement.
Well, I have a crawl space, so you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
Hang out there.
We're at living inside the walls of the house. Anyway, good movie. Really liked it. Worth tracking down. It made me want to check out his other stuff.
Yeah,
sure.
I know his first movie, Dance Party USA, is also set in Portland, so excited to see that. And then, Quiet City's New York. I'm not sure about his other movies, but there's only 5 of them, and they all seem to be about an hour and a half long. So,
yeah, he was the only one that I was completely unfamiliar with going in to this of the filmmaker, and it seems like he's kind of like he's gotten several like Independent Spirit Awards and things like that, but he hasn't maybe found the same success that the others have, which is a shame because again, this is like the most well composed one we've watched so far, which is saying something because some of the other ones are well composed.
Yeah, like Medicine for Melancholy, it was very well made. Barry Jenkins like showing early promise, and and maybe Katz is just kind of happy doing his own thing and doing small stuff. But I'd love, excited to check out the rest of his work and hope he makes more because I think he's got the goods.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what have you been watching this week?
Okay, so I've been watching a couple things. One thing I won't go into too many details about because I want people to see it and not have too much information. And that is, I went and saw the new Boots Riley movie, I Love Boosters, and thought it was great. And basically, if you're a fan of Sorry to Bother You and Boots Riley's whole vibe, you will probably love I Love Boosters because it is kind of just more of that. And
I did love absurd. Sorry to Bother You.
Me too. So I was a big fan, and it's just high energy with a maximalist movie full of colors and great music and lots of weird, fun, unexpected stuff. So the less you know, the better.
Yeah. And if you were wondering what the Rotten Tomatoes and Letterboxd scores for I Love Boosters is, why not check out Boots Riley's Threads account where he is making sure everyone has that information anytime the movie is mentioned.
I feel like he's doing that because there was like a weird push before the movie was even released where people were giving it negative IMDb reviews.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like, this movie's about shoplifters. This is bad. And it's like, the thing about I Love Boosters is like, that is one subplot, and there are about 10 subplots that could all be their own movie, but they are somehow in one movie. That's all I'll say about it.
And he's so much more interesting and smarter than just doing a movie that the message is shoplifting is all right. Like, give him some credit. He's much more interesting than that.
He's a smart, cool dude. And but the other thing that I just started last night, because I got AMC Plus to watch cold weather and was checking out some of the other stuff, and I stumbled upon a show that I kind of did kind of the Vince McMahon meme where it's like the different faces. So
Is it called Breaking Bad?
it's called Breaking Bad. No,
Oh, wow.
I saw well, first I saw like the post, like the cover had like Annie Murphy on it. I'm like, oh, okay, like been watching
Yeah.
Schitt's Creek, and what
Yeah, she's
this is
great.
this
I
is
know what
posted.
this is, and I have watched the first season, and I bought it, and I need to finish it. Yes.
Okay, yeah, because then like I'm watching the credits and I see like co-executive producer Tom Sharpling. Like, oh, okay.
How far
Co-executive
are you?
producer Sean Clements. Oh, okay. And then
Yeah,
yeah,
you've
the
got
first
some more fun surprises for you.
oh, I yeah, and then yeah, the first episode is dedicated to Lynn Shelton. So
Yeah.
that's my last, that's Vince McMahon falling back is me seeing that. So yeah, the show
Oh,
is called Evan Can Fuck Himself, and it is a weird and wild show that is kind of like what would a sitcom life, like what would that life be like if it was real? And so it is, so half of the episode is like a traditional three camera sitcom with a laugh track, and then the other half is shot like a drama and just kind of
yeah.
and gets very dark and and it is a facet. I've never seen anything like it, and I'm on board. I think it is such an interesting show, and again,
I
even some
will.
of the dramatic parts, if you put in, if you lit them and shot them like a sitcom, they'd be played for laughs, but because of the way they're shot, they are very dark and horrifying.
So, one of the people you've listed has a recurring role in the drama parts, which is interesting based off of who it is, because you don't
Oh.
really think of him as being remotely dramatic. I think he's one of the funniest people alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, he kind of plays an unsettling character in the dramatic parts. And then there's going to be a small role later on that is going to take you even further in the Vince McMahon meme than you already
Oh, nice.
are. I'll just say this. I think the show is shot in Boston. Do with that information what you will. You may have a guess as to who it is based off
I
of
do.
that.
You might have spoiled it, but yeah, it is a very Boston show, which kind of
Yeah.
makes. I mean, right? It's kind
Yeah.
of riffing on the King
Yeah.
of Queens and Everybody Loves Raymond, where you have like the hot wife with the terrible schlubby husband, and
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, like dealing with a person like that would make you insane because he's like a
Yeah.
narcissistic asshole.
Yeah, and his friends suck.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm very excited for you to continue enjoying. I need to finish it, but I really, really liked the first season.
yeah. It's
So,
I had never heard it about it, and I just saw Annie Murphy on it, and like, oh, that okay, I like her. She's great in Schitt's Creek, and then, oh wow, this is much more heady
yeah.
and weird and experimental than I thought. So yeah,
I was
I think
sold on the premise, and then I found out Tom Sharpling and Sean Clements wrote for it, and that was all
yeah,
I needed. I was off to the races.
nice.
And yeah, it's great. It's a cool show.
Yeah, but the what have
Uh,
you been watching?
so Memorial Weekend just happened here. On Memorial Day, or on Sunday, I made myself a whiskey smash and a Negroni based off of some cocktail YouTube videos I was watching. I liked their recipes. So I had those in my system, and then I took a couple gummies and watched Buffet Infinity, which is a new Canadian comedy horror movie told entirely through fake local commercials and news clippings. And it's just really interesting the way they use those to tell the story and the way it escalates. Like, at first, it seems like it's mostly about two restaurants competing with each other while there's a sinkhole outside that is mentioned in the commercials, and then just like a handful of other local commercials for color, but they all just kind of build off of each other, and it becomes insane by the end of it. It is fascinating. And with everything that was in my body, it was just kind of a perfect experience. I went to watch Star Trek Voyager on Pluto TV afterwards to sort of unwind, and because Pluto TV has commercials, every time it cut to a commercial break and one would start, I would think, all right, well, how does this tie into the narrative? But it's just like, we're selling mattresses. Like, there is no narrative beyond that. But it took me a while to readjust to the fact that sometimes commercials are normal.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, you
aside from that,
like, like a late night Adult Swim infomercial, and that sounds very much like my jam. So I need to check it out.
Yeah, it's very Adult Swimmy in a good way. Aside from that, I watched a movie that I thought was just going to be like a normal nunsploitation movie, but I think it might have been a porno. And of course, it was on the Criterion Channel. And also, it's a satire about religion. But I am pretty sure there was actual penetration happening in one of the scenes where a priest and a nun had sex. And that caught me off guard because, like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I watch these movies while I'm at work. Like, I work from home, but I am working. So, like, it is a little bit jarring to be, like, sending an email and then looking up and maybe seeing people actually having sex.
Not great.
So, well, I'm going to be honest. I bought that movie.
Oh, gosh.
Well, I thought it was interesting. And, like, it is weirdly also a satire along with everything else. There's a lot going on, and and it was shot by the same guy that shot Suspiria, although you can't really tell. It doesn't really look like Suspiria.
Not as many colors.
No, and not as well composed, I'll say. There are a few scenes. One of the reasons I bought it is because there were a few scenes where I literally could not figure out what was happening on the screen, and I wanted to figure it out. So, and it was $6 for the DVD, so I figured, why not?
It's a deal. It's a steal.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, are you ready to thank the people, Greg?
I think I am. Thank you to Nicholas Don Smith for our wonderful, beautiful artwork that we love. Thank you to Lumbermouth for our theme music and editing, which is fine, I guess. Thank you to both of us for giving ourselves this opportunity to watch fun shit and talk about it later on. And of course, as always, thank you to all of you still listening. We are so grateful for your support. We'd probably just be having these conversations anyway without you, but we're happy to share them with you. And it is a highlight of my week. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, keep on listening. And yeah, next week we got another Zag, another kind of genre mashup where mumblecore goes musical. We're going to talk about Damien Chazelle's, I believe his first movie, Guy and Madeline on a Park Bench. And we are going to have a guest who is a good friend of mine and should be able to give some good insights about the musical aspects of this one. So,
and
stay
we
tuned.
will be trying to solve the mystery of, does Damien Chazelle like jazz? It's really unclear as far as I can tell.
Not as much as Barry B. On that note, we'll see you around. Take care of yourselves, sickos.